Good morning and welcome to episode 1154 of Hard Factor. It is Monday, February 27th, 2023. Thank you for cheating on the news with us today. I've got fun facts, fried chicken, and much more in the cup of coffee in the big time. So,
ooh, wonderful.
Sounds delicious.
yeah, delicious. The end is delicious.
Sounds
you know,
delicious.
it's the coffee, so it's got trending news, which is always, over a long weekend where you're going to have some bad ones in there. So we'll try to just, gloss over those.
You give the world 48 hours.
Yeah, it produces results every time. Mark is on deck. Mark, what you got on deck?
Well, extreme racists, but we'll try to have some jokes in there too. A couple examples of some racists.
I mean, bad about the extreme racism, but
Right.
good about the jokes.
We'll try to have some fun with it,
Yeah,
We'll get there. I think we've done well.
Yeah, we got
Overall,
this. I got
so
this.
far.
I'm confident with what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, the news is the news. You got to
Look, we're not the people. We're not the subject. As long as we're not the subjects, this is like you got to be faster than the slowest kid, right? Like the subjects are extremely racist in this, so we're going to be better than them.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of fried chicken and racist, I watched The Help last night. Just saw it, and I was like, I'm
Oh,
just
the
gonna
shit pie.
the
Classic.
shit pie and Minnie never burns fried chicken.
Oh, had you never seen The Help before?
No, I've seen it like 9 times. I just
it's so
I
good,
just decided to watch it last night. It's such a good movie.
Great flick. Yeah, it's a good rewatcher. Yeah.
These are racist towards black people, by the way. Both examples. We've done
okay.
Jewish in the past, so sticking with the theme, these are racist.
So there you go. The Help.
Specifically to black people.
The Help is very relevant then in this case. Pat is in the hole today, and he might be there right now because we're taping live, youtube.com/hardfactornews, and he will be joining us as soon as he
Pat
gets
gets extremely confused about time zones. So I have a feeling he thinks that the show is starting an hour from now.
We
just
clarified
texted
it in the text earlier, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't really read the text. So like I think he's gonna pop in here. He's gonna tell us time zones. Watch, here he comes.
yeah, that'll.
Yeah. I thought you meant 5 p.m. Central Time, right?
Time zones. You guys got so little to talk about. You're talking about
You and your time
me?
zones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Was it a time zone issue, Pat?
No, it was a down to the wire finishing my story issue.
Well, what you got in the hole for us that you were?
I got a man made an interesting threat at I guess the equivalent of like a Walmart.
Yeah.
It's not a Walmart. The logo looks like a Walmart. It's called a Morrison's Daily.
It's in the
but
UK.
It's
I'm
more of like
familiar with this.
like a small shop.
Yeah.
And this
We
guy,
have
I
a lot
guess,
of those.
yeah,
that'll
he
be good.
he was not treated the way that he felt he needed to be treated, and
No.
he made an
Needed to
interesting
get
threat.
results. I can't wait to hear that one. I'm getting an error here. It says Hard Factor Mark's device is out of storage space, and they're
Is that a
recording
time
some
zone
stuff.
issue?
Oh no, that's not time zone issue.
No,
Hey,
that's
you took offense to that time zone thing.
I was kidding. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. It was just like
Really hanging your hat on that time zone thing. I was trying to give you,
you
an
guys
out.
were hanging your hat.
Trying to-
anyways,
I was trying to give you an out for being late.
Mark, you're recording your audio locally, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. Hey, and then Wes is closing this one out today. And what do you got, Wes, in the caboose?
I've got the husband stitch. I'm also gonna, do a little spiel on what happened in San Antonio over the weekend, which is terrible. We'll get through that quickly, and then we're gonna talk about the husband stitch, aka the dream seam.
Okay.
The dream scene.
I'm very excited about that one, for obvious reasons.
That's right.
Can I get the husband stitch? Wink, wink.
Yeah, I think you don't even need to say it as long as you're there. I feel like they look at you and they're like, "Oh, he's here. I got to do it.
If you showed up to support the birth,
You show them the pinky. You're like, tighten it up.
Oh, I got to do it."
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
You hold up a number of an age that you want him to tighten it back to.
Yeah. That's like a Jeep
22,
wave.
baby. Look at that 22.
It's like a Jeep wave. You just move your hands.
It's the opposite of the curb episode. All right, how to support the podcast? Join our Patreon community, patreon.com/hardfactor. It's very fun. I hear the Discord popping off right now. I'm gonna have to quit it because it's so active. It's just a beep 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 in my ear all the time. It's so active in that Patreon community.
I was up in the Discord a bunch this past week. Yeah. All the time.
Store.hardfactor.com for merch. 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts if you want to hear them back during the high five at the end of Friday's show. Voicemails, 512-270-1480. Send them in. We also play those during the high five on Friday's show. YouTube Lives, join us, youtube.com/hardfactornews. We're going a little earlier for this Monday's podcast. It's Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to check us live, we're 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time the rest of the week, the night before the podcast drops. Follow at Hard Factor News on social media. All those things you can do to support the pod. Anything else, fellas, before we
I just got to say, I'm fired up about March Madness. I've been watching a lot of college b-ball, a lot of college hoops. And
I'm ready for Clemson and Brevin
dude,
Galloway, and then whatever LSU does.
Duke is looking really good. Wisconsin's looking really good. Michigan's looking really good.
I saw you were watching Michigan, Wisconsin.
Dude, the Michigan-Wisconsin game was a buzzer beater. It was awesome.
Wisconsin, they need a couple more quality wins. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough conference.
They have like 12 losses.
They know basketball.
And they lost today in overtime. I think
they should have won. They got the big man on
the
Michigan.
bubble if they don't win their conference.
Oh yeah, 16-12. I mean, and 8-10 in conference.
I don't think they're going to get in.
This loss to Michigan was like a death sentence for Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Clemson though, they're going to be in. We're going to see Brevin doing.
Dude, Brevin Galloway had a prop bet that I, just obviously didn't take, but I should have.
Because you've met a guy now, you want to look at the prop. I get that. I'm the same way.
Plus 1,700.
Look at his prop bets
to hit 4 or more threes and for Clemson to win. And boy, did he do that.
Yeah, he's wet.
Did you bet on that?
No, of course I did.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Why didn't you text us?
Yeah, you should have texted
Next
us.
time
He doesn't like to share it though.
Is wet.
It's Wes's time. It's Wes's
Well, I don't
time.
want you guys to know exactly how much I'm gambling because
I know.
it looks bad.
Yeah, it's a self-preservation thing.
It is.
I bet the over on Michigan.
He's doing prop bets on
That probably
random
hit.
NCAA
I bet.
games.
Michigan Wisconsin over hit big time. I got the double over on that.
You got to share the wealth, man.
I'll share my we'll get a little side text chain going that Wes can be
season,
in.
right?
We just don't expect him to say much on it. That's
No,
okay.
no.
I'll have a lot of
Wes-
action.
Wes shares the picks.
I'll share a few things.
We're going to share the picks. More reason to get into patreon.com/hardfactor because March Madness will be pick central, I'm sure. All right. You guys ready to do the news?
Let's do it.
Cup of coffee in the big time is up first.
Yeah, cup of coffee in the big time.
Trending news at the time of taping. But first, a fun fact from the Dutch Hammer. Did you know that the word canvas is derived from the 13th century Anglo-French canevas and Old French canevas? Both may be derivatives of the vulgar Latin canapucicus,
Get
or
to
made
how
of
it
hemp.
has to deal with weed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, made of hemp, originating from the Greek word cannabis. And this clip explains a little bit more.
Wagons of pioneer days were covered in hemp canvas. In fact, the word canvas comes from the word cannabis, which is found in ancient Sumerian and Babylonian languages 6,000 years ago.
Whoa.
America's founding fathers, including George Washington, were keen growers of hemp, and Thomas Jefferson was probably the first hemp activist. Realizing hemp's value to the prosperity and defense of the nation, he encouraged farmers to grow hemp instead of tobacco.
Yeah.
So when they say hemp, Willie, at that time, in that context back then,
That's weed. It's
hemp
cannabis, the same
being
plant.
the male plant, that's essentially saying they're using, hemp for textile, but also to
high.
smoking dope, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
got high.
it's like the super tall, the bigger, male plants, I guess, is what they're using for the hemp to make the ropes and whatnot, the canvas and all that. But yeah, they loved it. Thomas Jefferson, owe him a couple apologies. Thought he was, all he did was.
Well,
You don't know him anything.
he-
Will.
yeah, I mean,
But
like Snoop Dogg, Thomas Jefferson had a blunt roller, except he didn't pay his.
Right. You're right. He's a big
So-
Henry Ford vibes with him
Yeah.
in the cannabis activism, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
they had one thing right. They didn't have it all right. Also, this one is from a fun fact from Kevin Nash, listener, and it's for Mark specifically. NASA says that Venus has a squishy surface, and this is just going to blow tectonic plate technology just like out of the water. It's going to have to reevaluate
Oh, bro,
everything.
I already have. If you see stuff related to tectonic plates, save it for the high five. I have that this week. I already am accumulating a pile for the high five.
Well,
And
add
there's
squishy
a
Venus.
there's
gotta
a
look into
very
it.
interesting discovery about the Earth's core that's recent that we didn't know about, shockingly. So yeah, I've got some tectonic plate stuff. Turns out we don't know shit about the inside of the Earth.
Wow.
Yeah. Shocker.
Science.
Yeah.
The more you know, you realize you know nothing.
Right.
That's science.
I'm all about science. I'm just saying I don't think we know shit and we should keep looking. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you there. Venus has a squishy surface, so you're
Yeah.
going to want to look into that because that's going to have
Perfect.
some impacts on the old tectonic science there. All right, fact check from last episode for Robert Appetizers. I owe you an apology, Bob. I had assumed that the train brake deregulation in 2018 was a Trump executive order, since many folks in the media, including Hard Factor Pat, were blaming him for the brake deregulation. But upon closer inspection, it turns out that we did get it right, that the 2018 rule change didn't have an impact on this particular derailment in East Palestine. But turns out that the brake deregulation actually came from President Obama's passage of the FAST Act in 2015. The rules just took effect in 2018. At least that's according to the head of the NTSB. And it also turns out that Norfolk Southern's largest shareholder is BlackRock, an investment firm who also happens to be the former employer of Brian Deese, Biden's top economic advisor, and several other current White House economic advisors as well. It's a huge coincidence.
So that's
14%
probably
of
where the-
BlackRock's funding comes directly from the taxpayers, and that BlackRock also just got a multi-billion-dollar deal to rebuild Ukraine. So these are just huge coincidences all around. Must be
The CEO of Blackhawk was definitely in on the decision making for burning this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just all
He's on that call.
coincidences all
Yeah.
around. Must be anyway. You know what they say about assuming, and I think we all have ass on our face after that one. So
it's the liberals' fault.
well, I'm just correcting. I'm just putting
Right.
facts
But
out there.
is that what that means?
Now we're going to get a 7-minute voicemail from Bob Apps. Is all I know.
No, Bob
Obama's
Apps
fault?
Bob Apps is conservative.
No, it
leaning.
didn't have an impact on that
He is.
particular
Yeah.
derailment.
He just
But
thought you guys were being
that
dicks
was
to me.
where the
That's all.
deregulation
He's got my
happened.
back. You
He
know.
just had your back, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of Ukraine, guys, I saw via Reuters and Lombard Trucking that China is now potentially convincing Putin and Zelensky to go with a 12-step peace plan to end the war, at the same time that Russia is threatening to invade Poland and getting Jens Stoltenberg of NATO all hot and bothered. Wild times in government.
That's good, even if it's bullshit. If China's saying ceasefire, right, or just end
It's
the war.
great.
That's
It's great
good,
for
right?
the
It's gotta be
world,
good.
bad
Yeah, it's
for
good
the
for the world.
USA.
Can
It's
you
great
break that
the
down
world,
for me,
bad
really? I'm not
bad
sure I
for
followed
us.
you exactly.
China wants the war to
China
end.
has a 12-step peace plan that Zelensky is entertaining along with Putin. And
Yeah.
China potentially may broker the peace between Russia and Ukraine. That's what they're trying to do.
Okay.
Whoever
If
brokers
so,
it-
it
yeah,
will be
that's-
bad for the U.S. in the international eye, I'm sure.
That's
But
fine. Look, as long as the war ends and there's no World War III, who cares if
I
China?
agree.
If China
I
gets
think-
the kudos and thumbs up for it, who gives a fuck?
I'm
It's like-
jazzed too, Mark.
Yeah, that's like Jared Kushner almost got the thumbs up for trying to broker Palestine and Israel, which lasted for like 2 days.
Right.
Is,
Even if it makes
cares
Jens
who gets it?
Stoltenberg mad, I'm jazzed as well, Mark.
Yeah,
Is
just end
the
the war.
first step for Russia to admit they were powerless over alcohol and that their lives had become unmanageable?
I hope so. Is it a? I think.
Oh,
it
is that a
might
12
be,
steps
Wes.
joke?
I think it is.
Step one, yeah.
You know
That's
what?
step one.
You know what I think is funny though. I was reading recently about Poland during the Soviet Union, right? And one of the things that led to the collapse of the Soviet Union was that they started jacking the vodka price up on the Polacks. And they like were not having it. No, but there's like it's inextricably linked. Booze
thinking about
prices
that word.
inextricably linked.
Right.
Booze prices in this former USSR.
Oh, dude, there's nothing that makes people more mad than raising booze prices.
Well,
Yeah, you
especially
can't raise
vodka
booze prices.
and the Polish.
Yeah.
Like, whew. In Poland, they love
A
vodka.
potato-based liquor? No,
Beat the Witcher.
you can't do that out in that part of the world. Yeah.
Okay, wild times in government. We'll get back to the government in just a second. In sports, De'Aaron Fox and the Sacramento Kings beat the LA Clippers 176-175 in double overtime over the weekend. The second highest scoring NBA game of all time.
Damn.
Also, the Capitals in the NHL traded Orlov and Hathaway to the Bruins, and that makes me sad. At least Leeds got a win, MOT, but I'm moving on from sports because
Man, I was looking at some NBA futures for finals winner. and I'm high on the Clippers after the Russell Westbrook trade. They got Russell Westbrook starting, they got Kawhi Leonard starting, Paul George starting. That's three
They
killers.
just got beat by the Kings, though.
Yeah, but he hasn't.
I
Russell
know.
Westbrook
They're
just
a
got
new
there.
team.
But the real one is the Suns at plus 450 with their starting lineup with
Going back to the Suns. Huh?
Chris Paul, Kevin Durant,
Kevin Durant,
Devin
yeah.
Booker, and Ayton at center. 4 of their 5 players are all-stars, basically. One's the best player in the world when he's healthy. That's tough.
They
I
need
think
a
the
strip
Suns-
club outing, team building exercise,
Yeah.
and then they'll be all good.
Well, they have
Suns
the
should win.
blowjobs too. The Suns, remember, right? Or the
Sorry, Celtics fans.
That's the team with the
Suns-
blowjobs.
Suns
Suns
should win.
chick, yeah, that's a team.
That was the woman that went on No Jumper and said that she blew
Correct.
all. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, on the Suns. Yeah, they like. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never. That's like a sports thing. Like being cool with like.
Getting
Getting
blowjobs.
blown?
Yeah, that's what I meant, guys.
Getting blown. It's like a
I meant
sports
that.
thing.
You know.
Like a team
No.
building exercise.
I mean, like being okay with like getting
Same
a
chick.
blowy
Yeah.
right after someone else. Your boy got a blowy.
Yeah.
Right
Well-
after your boy got a blowy. Your boy got a blowy. Your boy
There's
got a blowy.
certain
Yeah.
environments
It's a
where,
team
You're
building
rung on a
exercise, like
ladder.
Wes said, yeah,
where
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the team building.
It's like a trust fall into your penis into
Blood
the mouth of
brothers,
someone
except
that
you're
just
blow
yeah.
brothers.
A trust fall with your penis.
It's fucking sick when that happened to us, right? I love
Yeah.
you.
I went third.
All right, that was sports.
Gross.
And back to government. What's up?
Gross.
This is gross. It's fucking gross.
Yeah.
Going anywhere but first is gross.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got. I mean, it's
What's
team
the
building.
cool-off
Again,
period?
It's
What's the-
it's the trust fall.
What's the cool off period for it to not be gross?
60
It just
seconds.
depends on if you're gonna, dude. If you
60
think it's
Shower.
gross,
A shower. A shower.
if you
Maybe
think
a
it's
rinse.
gross, you're not gonna
Rinse.
get involved in one of these situations
Yeah.
anyways. So
It's 0 seconds after a rinse or
right.
a couple hours.
As long
You
as
either
it
think
takes
it's
the
gross
rinse
to
and
the
high
point-
five.
right. You either think it's gross to the point where you're not gonna do it, or you're like, I'm gonna do it.
No, I mean, Will, I'm saying like, let's say you hooked up and then you found out later,
get it.
like you had no idea.
Does the
you were-
time really make a difference? Like, is
Yeah,
it
like,
like-
there's got to be a time. There's got to be a
It's
certain
all
amount of
about
time.
it's all about the shower or not. It could be
Okay.
it could be 10 minutes and a shower or 2 days. I'd rather the showers.
You're
Speaking
demanding
of
a shower
vodka,
after a
a
blowjob?
rinse. No,
Vodka,
Like
shot of
full,
vodka.
Like full sex.
I was talking
so
about
that,
mouth
like,
rinse. Okay, yeah.
No, like if you were like go
Vodka
to
West.
like if you
Yeah.
go to like
Yeah, vodka.
Polish style.
Amsterdam and you're like at the red light district. If you were like next in line,
Oh, yeah,
I'd expect a rinse, a shower,
hope so.
body wash. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, that's a scenario you know that's happening. Anyway, yeah. Okay. I think we got it. It's pretty good. We figured that out.
got
That's,
it.
that
Just use
problem.
some vodka.
Take that problem off the board.
Vodka will wash
out.
that jizz right out of there.
That's right.
And
Vodka for you and
get
water
going
for her
on
vagina.
Number 2,
Mouth.
number 5 even. And back to the government for just a quick second. As shockingly, the U.S. Department of Energy has finally released a report saying, basically, yeah, COVID was probably from the Wuhan lab leak. And while
No way.
White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan on Sunday somewhat refuted the report, saying, quote, there's no definitive answer on the question of COVID origins. The FBI has also published the same conclusion as the Department of Energy that COVID probably came from the Wuhan lab leak, and it left
Well,
many in America,
How long have these animals been around in these animal markets? Like thousands of years, and it just magically happened, but next to a lab that was testing these things? Like obviously it was the lab, right? Because otherwise this would have
think.
happened from a wombat or wherever the fuck they're saying it was in the past, or would happen again. And they're not even concerned about it happening again because guess what? It came from the lab. They
Right. You'd think,
manufactured it.
but now we have a situation in the United States, Mark, where 4 federal agencies have said it didn't come from the lab, and 2 now have said that it did. Left many Americans feeling like user at TJMode28 on Twitter, who replied to this story and said, so is there a single COVID conspiracy that isn't going to end up being true? And certainly Woody Harrelson is feeling the same way. Check out his cold open on from SNL this past weekend.
So the movie goes like this. The biggest drug cartels in the world get together and buy up all the media and all the politicians and force all the people in the world to stay locked in their homes, and people can only come out if they take the cartel's drugs and keep taking them over and over. I threw the script away. I mean, who was going to believe that crazy idea?
He wrote that movie, he's saying?
That was his joke for
Or
yeah,
someone
his joke
tried
for
to get him
open.
to
Right.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was so unbelievable. No,
I mean, Woody, when people start getting like that deep into a conspiracy, I'm like, y'all are crazy. Like I
you
agree
think
that
Big
they're.
Pharma doesn't like to make money? You
I
think
know
the
they
Wuhan
do,
lab
Willie.
doesn't want to cover up that they leaked it.
I know that they. No, I'm look.
There's
I'm
no
not
money
saying
in the cure.
I'm not saying there's no corruption, but when you start stacking on stacking on
Yeah.
stacking on
I think
stacking on
what Pat's
stacking,
saying is it's reactionary corruption as opposed to a master plan to have released the virus. And before they did that,
Well, but
plan
couldn't
on
he
the
be
vaccine-
making fun of reactionary corruption?
Yeah, of
at the
course.
same time?
No one, reactionary corruption's just as bad. It's still corrupt. It's still
if you
gross.
dig into Woody Woody thinks that he's connecting a lot of lines.
Woody has some thoughts for sure.
Yeah,
He's a
Woody's got
fantastic
some
actor.
thoughts.
He's awesome.
He's a great actor. There's no
Everyone
doubt about
loves
it.
Woody. There's nothing wrong with that joke and that dialogue. That's
His dad
That
also
was a fine
was
joke.
standing outside of a motel with a weapon, saying that he killed JFK.
I think it's clear that the thing was created in the
Yeah, his
lab,
father's
it
a
leaked in the lab, and then Big Pharma made a lot of money off of it. But I don't think that the vaccine is like all the conspiracies about how it kills you and all this other crap. And I think Big Pharma saw opportunity. No, I'm not saying Woody said that. I'm just saying we're talking about the guy who said, is there going to be a single conspiracy that's not proven true in the tweet? And I would say half of the conspiracies are still bullshit and people are looking a little too far into it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty big when you consider the current administration won an entire election based on, COVID and saying that we weren't doing enough for COVID and all that stuff. So
I know
there was a
was
huge impact on the country.
But you got to look outside of just the U.S. It was a global thing where people had issues with lockdowns. You got to look outside your bubble of the U.S. And that's why I think it was just a catastrophe from that stupid lab. And then a lot of people really fucked up the handling of it, and then people profited as they do in disasters like Big Pharma and people that took advantage of PPPs and all that crap. So all sorts of shit
Moderna
happened.
made out pretty good. Sounds like to me like Big Pharma, the Wuhan lab, and the 4 federal agencies who've still reported it as not a leak have some answers. It's questions to answer, as Mark just said. And just like the Cuban government has for this latest UFO video, check it out, guys. This was allegedly shot over Havana, Cuba in 2019. And it's an
Looks like a
orb of light in the sky.
Looks like it's going down. It looks like when a plane gets shot out of the air, kind of.
Now it's rotating.
It looks like it got shot down when it started rotating.
Wow. But the burn, it looks like it's on fire.
It looks pretty awesome. Is what it looks like.
Right? Pretty cool.
If I was a giant, I'd try to swallow that.
And then check this out.
It's got wings now.
Holy shit. Now it's got pieces on it. So
Okay, now that is
That looks fake right there, though.
it's a rotating light. No, it's real. It's a real video. It's definitely not a kite with a rotating light on the bottom of it, right?
so. That's 2014. You're saying 2014? Will?
2019 Cuba.
See, 19, the technology it existed to fake that. 14, it didn't.
It's cool looking though.
It's almost certainly a rotating light attached to the bottom of a kite, but it's a great UFO video.
How is that a rotating light attached to the bottom
Watch
of
at
a
the
kite?
end. Watch at the end when it goes into focus. See it, the lights rotating.
It's inside like It's inside like a glass.
You'll see the kite in a second. Watch. You'll see the kite. There it comes. See it?
Yeah, it's
There's
like
the kite.
Yeah,
Oh,
I see what you're
wow,
saying.
okay.
It's
It's
like
a hang glider.
It's a perspective
Yeah,
thing too. It's
exactly.
zoomed in. It looks a lot bigger than it is.
But a
Or-
kite with
yeah.
with like a spinning light is like the coolest UFO video we've seen.
Agreed.
A long time.
Agreed.
A long time. Thanks to Phil Wan for that one. Also, the governments need to answer questions about dark elves because Mexican President AMLO posted a picture of a dark elf on Twitter.
What's he call him? Like an oxier or something? They have a name for the
his
elves.
name
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Lux. A
I
Lux.
share the Luke. The
A Lux is what they call the
ALUXE.
elves. Yeah, that's an elf.
The Lux. A lot of questions to be answered. COVID
He's
origins.
being dead serious. He thinks there are
UFOs,
elves
dark
in
elves.
Mexico. Yeah.
He believes there's dark elves in Mexico. Yeah.
It's like what's that the other country that does that? Iceland or whatever. Remember the movie with Will Ferrell where he's in the concert, the Eurovision?
Right.
His country believes in elves. Like they actually do like have like little structures and they think that like they're kind of like a deity type thing. They pray to the elves and shit like that. Yeah. So
Yeah, no.
AMLO's on that track. He's
Real
on-
mysticism. Yeah, he believes in elves. All right. And finally, done with all that government bullshit. Let's talk about Cocaine Bear. Who watched it? You guys watch it?
Not yet.
I couldn't make it to the theater, man. I wanted to watch it. I would have paid $30 to watch it at home.
Pat texted me, I got to make some changes in life because Pat texted me. He's like, hey, Mark, I think he was on the thread. He goes, hey, Mark, how do I pirate this? You're the pirating guy. How do I pirate Cocaine Bear? And I was like, oh,
Did you know
geez.
how?
I was paying
No.
attention.
I used to use that.
Making bets. He's not telling about us while reading.
No, yeah, exactly. Like Wes, I used to use that
Pirate
Israeli-based
this, bet on
developer
this.
software that you could watch all the free movies. I forget what it's called, Cody or something like that.
Yeah.
But I've been out of the game I've been too scared for the past couple of years.
Well, I will say, like, I forget what pirating situation happened recently. Oh, it was Reddit. Reddit had a pirating thread, and the big boys are going at Reddit asking them to disclose the names of users that were active on the thread during a certain period of time. So it's right back to the bullshit where it's like they're using fear tactics to prevent pirating. That's what they're using.
Yeah.
Targeting individuals to be like, look,
That's what I got. I got out before all that. I was like,
But no,
And
didn't
Reddit
see it,
just-
Willie.
Reddit just went public too, so they're probably going to be ultra careful now. 70%ish Rotten Tomatoes, 50%ish Metacritic. You have to watch something for yourself with numbers like that. Basically, the most mixed review movie I've ever seen, but it has the best title of all time, so it trends constantly.
So let's talk about Cocaine Bear real quick. So the true story of Cocaine Bear is this guy Andrew Thornton III, who was a DEA agent, right? And he ran. There's a great book on him called The Bluegrass Conspiracy, but he ran a crew of dudes out of Kentucky, right? Yeah.
Bluegrass Conspiracy.
And there was a farm, right? And he was ex-DEA, so he goes to jump out of a plane. And he has way too much cocaine on his back, like a fuck ton of cocaine. And this is obviously like later in his life when he's like not been a DEA guy for a while. He's cocaine fueled, and he's so much coke that shit goes wrong. His chute won't open, so the coke goes flying into the woods, and Thornton goes face down, splat on a Knoxville, Tennessee driveway. But he was connected with some really fucked up guys, some Amish
And
runners.
they found the reason the bear is involved is because they found a bear.
So the bear did the cocaine.
in a cave with
I mean,
its stomach full of coke. Months
have
later.
to watch that movie. We're gonna watch.
You should.
The movie.
You should. But the Andrew Thornton III
Have to.
FBI file is public. You can Google it. It's a pretty interesting read if you want to dig in deeper.
Nice. Well, everybody's still getting around to watching that Cocaine Bear, which brings us to
The cream of the crop!
And since it's a Monday podcast, I wanted to share some people who may make you feel a little bit better about your case of the Mondays this week. You could be experiencing that right now, listening on a Monday, like, man, I really don't want to be at work. I'm in a bad mood. Hope I don't do anything fucked up because I'm in such a bad mood. But you probably didn't do anything as bad as these people. So just be contented with that. First up, thanks to Dooley for this one in Manitoba, taking it to the internet. Royal Canadian Mounted Police Manitoba tweets, reminder, 911 is only for emergencies. Yesterday, hashtag RCMPMB received a 911 call from a woman in Steinbach who was angry about the long drive-through line at the new Burger King. We realize you aren't you when you're hangry, but this is not a valid reason to dial 911, eh? Oh, sorry.
I mean, it kind of is, though, depending on the drive-through setup, because you can get trapped in a drive-through, right? Because certain drive-throughs have like a curb that's going to keep you in there, and you can get trapped. You can get stuck.
But
And you-
was it-
yeah.
Did she call?
just
I
called
know you're
on the
joking,
long
but did she
line.
call to say she was scared for her life?
No, she just called 'cause she was
Look,
annoyed.
yeah,
She's-
this lady's an
she's
idiot.
annoyed.
I know
She's
that.
just an idiot. Yeah.
Annoyed with
But-
this. So at least you haven't done that this Monday. You haven't been such a grouch that you called 911 on Burger King.
Burger King line's so long. I mean, that sounds.
Yeah.
Well, it's
what
in Canada, bro.
What part of town is
Manitoba,
this in?
Burger King West.
Yeah, it's the only fast food that they have. Yeah.
Big crush up there.
Great point, Wes. It sounds like a fake tweet from.
Sounds like a fake tweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Drive
sounds like
for so
Burger King
long.
might have
That's
paid
real.
them.
That's the Mounties. The Manitoba Mounties posted that with a picture of a Whopper on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Gross.
They've got the grade check, so you know it's real. So.
I kind of want to make a fucking. I was thinking about this when I was at the Starbucks this weekend. I took my boy out shopping. It was like, all right, I'm gonna
There's a line that can get long. The
right.
drive-
We're just gonna pop
Starbucks.
through the Starbucks real quick, and it was long as shit, dude. And
Yeah.
I was like, I need a way to express myself because my coffee is a iced black coffee. That's it.
Right.
It's so
sucks.
fast.
But if you think about it, like if you go in the store, because of some of these specialty orders as you're talking about, right? Yours takes no time, but some like you have to average the amount. It takes usually like 3 minutes per order. So if there's
I need to make
there's
a
10
shirt.
cars in there, that's 30 minutes.
I want to make a shirt that says your coffee order is stupid and selfish, and I hate you for it, or
Yeah,
something
that's a
like
great
that.
shirt. I like
Right.
that.
Your complicated coffee order needs to stop.
Yeah, just get a fucking coffee. Yeah,
Get a coffee, dude.
iced or black. Iced
Yep.
or hot.
Sit
pretty
in
easy.
Starbucks all day with that shirt on, just mean mugging people.
Dude, I would.
That'd be a
Ooh, and then like when they order, be like ooh, and point at them, and then point at the shirt. It's you.
Oh
Just
man,
brew it at home.
just brew it at home, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
I think that's what Starbucks would tell you if you came in with the shirt.
I buy it. I do. I buy it from the store.
Yeah, that's directed to you.
But you're on the run. You're on the road. There's nothing better than a to-go coffee too, man. Like I buy the fucking Starbucks shit from the grocery store and pour it.
It's like a treat while you're doing errands, right? You go and get yourself a hot coffee, and you're like, "This is fun." Now the errands are fun.
All of a sudden, you like grocery shopping.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Little trick.
Well, yeah. So you might have a case of the Mondays if you're wearing that shirt at the Starbucks.
True.
And you also might have a case of the Mondays if you are Belinda Miller. She's 50 years old of Augusta, Georgia. And there she is, fellas. She's got like a Bulls era Dennis Rodman look going on. Can you describe to the listeners?
I think you nailed it. She looks like Dennis Rodman from the Bulls.
Yeah,
Black lady, short red hair.
Thick though, like a thick,
thick rider.
Like
if,
are intense.
yeah, like if it was a cartoon Rodman and he got like resized without maintaining the aspect ratio. You know, like he got crushed.
Right,
Like,
you got sort of like squashed.
an anvil hit him.
So what do you think, guys, seeing her photograph, it's obviously a mugshot. What do you think Belinda's reaction would be if you messed up her Popeyes order?
Not falling for this one.
Yeah, she's going to do something violent, Will.
Right. Hope she doesn't have a gun. You gotta hope she doesn't have a
Violence,
gun.
Will.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are both right. If you guessed driving her SUV into the Popeyes storefront while the staff were still inside, you nailed it. Because that's exactly what happened last week when Belinda had a case of the Mondays herself, didn't get her biscuits included in her order, which is insane.
Yeah, that makes me want to drive through the thing right now.
One of the main reasons. Main reasons you go, really.
I'm kind of on her side now.
Right. The biscuits, you need the biscuits at Popeyes 100%. And everybody acknowledges that. The Popeyes manager at the location said in the incident report that
he said, "Give me the keys." He drove the car in further. He backed it up and drove it in again.
Sorry.
I'm going to use it as a teachable moment to my staff.
Yeah.
I drove it over myself in apology. No, he said that Miller had threatened the staff and even called the restaurant to say that she was going to drive her car into the building before she came back to get her biscuits and drive the car to the building. And when she came back to the restaurant, she got the replacement biscuits from the manager, but she apparently was not satisfied still. She needed more than just her replacement biscuits. So she told somebody waiting in line to hurry up and get their order, quote, because she was coming back, unquote. And shortly after she told them that she was coming back, she did indeed slam her Toyota RAV4 into the store, nearly striking an 18-year-old employee in the process. The cops were called at 7:45 p.m. local time and found Belinda at her home after she had fled the scene. And she's only got an aggravated assault charge, but I'm pretty sure replacing the entrance of a Popeyes isn't cheap. You know?
Did it say what year the RAV4 was?
2011 RAV4.
Oh, yeah, that's a piece of shit, RAV4. The RAV4 has gotten pretty good now, but back then it sucked.
Yeah, it really did. And that's a big bill for a simple case of the Mondays. So at least your Monday isn't off to that start, probably, right? If it is, just take the rest of the day off because, it's not going to get much better.
You got to go home if you're about to drive your car through an establishment. You got to go
if
home.
you can, Mark. If
Yeah.
you even can. But if you're at a Burger King in Canada, you might be trapped.
True.
You might be.
I would have demanded fresh chicken too, because your chicken's getting cold. Now you got to drive back and drive through the store, and your chicken's going to be cold by the time you get those biscuits back. It ruins the whole meal.
Yeah.
It's just got to be a refund because the manager knows and Belinda knows they can't even see each other in person or she's going to freak out. Like it's just got to be a refund.
Well, Mark, turns out Belinda can't see a lot of people in person.
Yeah.
Hopefully, on your Monday, you haven't also rammed vehicles into things multiple times like Belinda Miller.
Oh, it wasn't her first time, huh?
No, it's her third. She also drove that Toyota RAV4 into the side of the Forest Brook apartment buildings twice in May of 2020 and pulled the wheel of a man's car in 2018, causing him to drive into the woods while she punched him in the head.
Man, does she have a bumper guard on that thing?
She weaponizes cars, man.
She likes doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, multiple. Like the RAV4, again, 2011 RAV4 is a piece of shit. Yeah. Without a bumper guard, I don't know how she's doing this.
She made 2 rams with that car into multiple
She likes
buildings.
to crash, bro. It's a fetish.
Yeah. Hey, Wes, I was going to tell you, I ordered McDonald's Uber Eats the other day, and I got my order, which is a number 1 large with a Coke and a 6-piece nugget. I got my order. That's what I ordered for me. And guess what came?
An extra 10-piece?
No, bro. It was just a quarter pounder and a small Sprite.
Oh.
Wait, that's all that came?
Yeah,
I
that's all
thought
it
you said
came.
you got your order and then somebody.
No, and I ordered my
You
order. I
didn't
didn't
get
get my
fries
order.
or nuggets.
No, I wanted to kill this man. I wanted to take. I wanted to go buy a Rav4.
Somebody's eating your food.
I know.
Someone ate your food.
Yeah.
Yeah, find this motherfucker who didn't check the bag
Yeah.
and just ram him.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, yeah, that's
At least get
tough.
a refund.
So what you
I
do?
got the refund. I got the
Got
refund.
one live comment from the youtube.com/hardfactor news chat, and William Bedencourt says this episode is brought to you by Listerine.
Yeah.
It's a great
Take
comment.
a rinse in between wieners.
Strong comment.
Yeah. All right. I got this segment is good news for racists. You guys are so back. Huge resurgence for racist in late 22 and into 2023. Best showing for racist in years, I would say. And of course, it's been the classic.
As in,
ones.
like, wait, sorry,
Oh.
like they're not being racist, or is it?
No,
like
they're like openly racist and
they're
proud
just
of
showing it off.
They're just
Yeah.
showing it off. They're not hiding it, right? Like it's a big time.
It's a Donald Sterling year.
Yes,
he's,
and
he's thrilled. Yeah.
It's been the classics, right? Play the hits, am I right? Like it's the Jews and the black people, right? It seems like they're getting the brunt of it per usual. We've covered some of the Jewish ones recently, including one by like the most famous black person, ironically, Kanye West. So today, let's look at a few cases of racism towards the black, shall we? Let's spread the abundance of racist wealth.
Okay.
I don't think you can say the
we
blacks.
got some
Black
white ones.
people.
We got some
What-
people making fun of
to
white people.
black people.
Even
Thank
now?
you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna.
you sound like my grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sound like Sterling.
It's the same deal. I mean, it's like when you say the Jews, you're just talking about Jewish people.
You're
but
not
you
allowed
gotta
to say
be careful.
the in front of it, right?
Yeah,
to
the
black,
is
to
just
black people.
Really got to be careful.
The is a tough word. Tunisia, which is checks notes in Africa,
Yep.
is planning on removing
Nailed it.
all its black migrants and people.
Oh,
right.
dude, I saw
North
this. This is
Africa,
bad.
right?
This is bad.
Yeah, it's way up there in North Africa.
Right. So
Here-
that's North Africa's different in
there.
that way, where there is the racial strife. It's not like sub-Saharan Africa where everybody is darker, I think.
yeah,
where
you're going to
there's a
hear
lot
that
of lighter skinned people.
sub-Saharan term a lot in this article. That's the tipping point for Tunisian president.
Oh, yeah, they're pissed at the
Kais
Sub-Saharan.
Saied, who look how racist he looks. First of all, he looks like
Whoa.
he's still in the German war.
Right. When a guy like that says, yeah, no, I'm the leader of an African country, you're like, well, wait,
Shocking.
excuse.
Yeah, he looks
I got
like
questions,
Jens
man.
Stoltenberg. Yeah.
Yeah, he does, but he's actually Arabic. But we'll get to it. So, Kais Saied, who he took over in 2021 once he consolidated power via a coup. So this guy's a coup guy, right? He won a coup, troublesome.
Well, it's
right
Africa,
off,
Mark. I mean,
right
come
off
on,
the bat.
like,
Yeah.
If you look up, like, I don't know offhand, but if you looked up every country in Africa, how did the last president come into
Coups.
power? Coup was going to be like 50%, right? Like,
Coup's up there.
yeah.
Yeah, coup's up there. It's like an election. It's a coup year. He has been big time buying into the Great Replacement theory, which is an extremely racist conspiracy theory held mainly by white nationalists. It started in France, and it was a big talking point at the Charlottesville rally, Unite the Right or whatever that one was.
When they were saying you or Jews, we couldn't tell, will not
replacement
replace us.
theory?
Yeah. So it basically says
Y'all saying Jews or y'all saying you?
this is sub-Saharan Africans that he's concerned about. He says there's a global migration plan to migrate more sub-Saharan Africans to Western countries and in Northern African countries to replace lighter-skinned people and religion like Islam, for example, in Tunisia. So he thinks this global conspiracy theory of moving the sub-Saharan black people to places that don't have enough of them is going on, and that they're going to take over Tunisia from him. And so he is going to proactively and has been rounding up all the black migrants and throwing them the fuck out of Tunisia. He's raiding cities and towns. And
I'm going to
just-
make a guess here.
Yeah.
Similar to the USA and like Guatemala, for example.
I was gonna say Mexicans.
Is
yeah.
Tunisia's like economy just better than maybe Ethiopia's or wherever these folks are coming
It's
from?
potential, but Tunisia has historically been
I'm
very
on it, Will.
open. Tunisia is very open to migrants in general. Up until this guy. This guy came in and he's like, no more. And it's specifically, if you're coming from other countries and you're lighter skinned, he's cool with it. He doesn't want sub-Saharan Africans
like,
in
no.
particular. If you're dark skinned, he's getting government trucks out there, and he's throwing you in them. He's black hooding you, and then he's throwing your black ass the fuck out. At
He
Tunisia.
likes the shade of Tunisia the way it is.
That's tough.
Yeah, he likes the shade like
Sub-Saharan
this.
Tunisians.
Right.
All right, so Will, to answer your question, Tunisia is around 88th or 78th. It's between 78th and 88th. So it's ranking right on Guatemala, Cuba, Kenya's better, Sudan's better.
Kenya, yeah.
Again, I want to be clear. This isn't
So number one
Ethiopia
is
is better.
Nigeria,
Ethiopia's
number two,
better.
Egypt, number 3, South Africa.
Ethiopia's
I
in
don't
the
know where they're
60s.
coming from. Do you
Yeah,
know
I want to
which
be. I want to
country
be
they're
clear.
coming
This is
from?
not migrants. It's it's sub-Saharan African migrants. He's making that clear in his speeches.
Tunisia, in fact, Pat, you're right. It's below Uganda. Wow, it's the 14th
Well, he doesn't
biggest
want a
in
Ugandan.
Africa,
He doesn't
or
care.
the
He
14th
says, he
biggest.
says, keep your rich ass in Uganda.
It's within reach of Afghanistan.
Uganda need a new plan if you want to go to Tunisia, is what he's saying. Yeah. Yeah. So
Seems like they could use the help. I mean, all the way down to 14.
Well, the entire world, like, is the UN and all these people like, whoa, what has the Tunisian president been saying about the Great Replacement Theory and sub-Saharan Africans? This isn't good. So so what happened is it's like a big issue in Tunisia because it's split. There's a lot of people that are like, wow, our president is racist and this sucks. And then there's a lot of people like this guy this is a man on the streets interview on Tunisian TV. We're gonna need to translate because they're speaking Arabic or whatever. And I will read the reporter's closed captions. Can one of you please play the part of the gentleman?
I will play the part of the gentleman.
Okay.
واخلاقهم تصلح بهم في افريقيا ما تصلحش بهم في تونس.
Say it.
The Villiers are not African at all.
What do you mean by their values?
What?
What do you mean by their values?
اخلاقهم مش اخلاق.
Their values aren't comparable with those of the Arabic people. They have their own values.
Have you met any of them?
نعم.
Excuse me.
Have you met them?
شكون؟
Have I met them?
تاني جدي كان يجيب
My
لي
grandpa used to buy and sell them, and you
أنا
asked me if I
نعرف
met
شكون.
them.
Ooh,
That's the thought of some Tunisians.
They found the right guy to interview.
Yeah.
he's like just a couple
sir.
generations away from slave owning. That guy. Wow.
So to answer your question, no, I've not met them.
That's incredible. He's been so proud of that fact.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Shout out to Garrett from Iowa for posting that on the Discord. Yeah, it was
I
like
think Lombard
that
Trucking
absolutely
posted
insane.
it. Garrett
Yeah.
laughed at it. That's some people's thoughts, just casually in the streets, knowing it's going on TV. That he's like, I'm willing to share this point of view happily. So
Furthermore,
Tunisia-
I think you should bring back the slave trade.
right. If they can stay, if they're slaves.
That's basically what that guy said.
Yep. Hey, maybe that. Never mind. I'm not going to make that
Not
joke.
good.
Not going to make that joke. Let's move on. Pretty shocking coming from an African nation, but this one might be even more shocking as it's coming from a beloved cartoon creator. Do you guys know Dilbert?
Yeah, he's like the male Kathy.
I've seen it.
Right.
Oh, yeah,
You know
there
what
he
it
is.
is, right? So, according to Wikipedia, Dilbert is an American comic strip written and illustrated by Scott Adams. Here's Scott Adams. First published on April 16th, 1989. It is known for its satirical office humor about a white-collar, micromanaged office with engineer Dilbert as the title character. So it's kind of like The Office in cartoon form.
Who did? He had his little dog. Who did the voice of Dilbert on the cartoon? Because they did an animated series. Remember that? And then who did the
have to
voice?
Google
Of
it.
it?
You'll have to
Yeah.
Google it.
I forget.
Well, it
It was
turns
big.
out
Huge cartoon.
the illustrator and creator of Dilbert, what did I say his name was? Scott Adams. Two first names.
It was Chris Elliott did Dilbert.
It turns out that he's a big racist, not a big fan of blacks. Looking back on it, we probably should have known, as Adams introduced his first ever black character in 2022, 33 years into his daily comic strip that had tons of office workers as characters throughout the 33 years because he's in like meetings and stuff.
Never
So
had a black employee. in
First
Dilbert's
black
office.
guy came
Not
out.
even the janitor?
No, not even janitor. First one came out. First one came out in 2022, and then when he did, Black Dave, the character, identified as white, and Scott Adams tweeted this before. He goes, "Let's see if the world is ready for this." My first black, introducing Dave, the new engineer, my first black character.
Probably not,
God.
Scott.
Yeah. And,
Oh God, Scott.
and there you see Dave says, "I identify as white" when they asked him about it. And to make it even funnier, he released it on a weekday, which only the weekends are in color. So it was in black and white when he goes, "I identify as white," so you couldn't even really tell what was going on.
So
there.
it's just that's even so much more racist because then it's just
Features.
black looking features.
Features. Yeah, you have to guess based on features.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and
Goatee
then
is how he decided to.
bald and goatee. Black Dave ran for a full week. And it
I mean,
was-
I'm just imagining that guy suddenly, like, he's at the age, which you can blame him, but he's also at the age where he's just like a lot of the guys around him are old racists probably, and you know that he tested that out. He tested the waters in his email chain a little bit. Like, you think this one will fly? You get him, Dave.
You'll see how deep it goes with Scott Adams and his hatred towards the black community.
Scott Adams.
Black Dave ran for a full week, and it was just him identifying as white the whole week to poke fun at affirmative action. Here's the second running of Black Dave, where Dilbert or someone in the office goes, "Is it true you identify as white just to prank our boss on his diversity goals?" And Black Dave goes, "Maybe." And then the guy goes, "It's too soon to say I love you, but things are heading in that direction." So
that is funny, though. That's a funny joke.
He can make fun of affirmative action all he wants.
Little cartoon,
but it's a breadcrumb, right? So the other
so now people are like looking into his personal shit.
Here you go. The other shoe finally dropped a year later for Adams when he exposed himself as a full-on racist on his YouTube show called Real Coffee with Scott Adams this past week. It's like a daily show where he two-camera talks about news topics, and he's just kind of racist. In several recent episodes, he went on rants against black Americans as a group of people. Here's the description that he wrote for his show last week that got him in trouble. Can someone read? He wrote this in his YouTube description.
Content. If you're white, don't live in a black neighborhood.
That was the first topic. That was the first topic of the show. Adams has been referencing a Rasmussen poll that asked, "Is it okay to be white?" And then it polled a bunch of different people in different groups and sexes, and male.
He feels
female,
attacked.
And,
he feels attacked as a white man.
Yeah, so most people polled said yes, you can be white, it's fine, but it's broke down by demographics of who said yes, no, or I don't know. And Adams took offense to the black people that said no or they weren't sure, which was 26% of the black people polled. Now, don't get me wrong. Those 26% are racist or trolls, right? But that's not nearly the majority, nor does it make what Adams did any less racist. Two racists don't cancel each other out. So
they often feel that they do.
You give them guns.
That's the big problem with the issue.
But they don't. But they
often do feel like if they
that's not how it works. It's not two negatives equals a positive like in math.
Right.
So Adams went on to rant that black Americans as a group of people are a violent hate group. He said that white people should stay as far away from all black people as possible, and that he is done helping black people like he did before. For some reason, he didn't put him in his fucking comics. Dilbert got canceled, obviously, and removed from hundreds of papers. He basically ended Dilbert with one racist rant. Then that led to several more racist rants as he's been covering the backlash on his shows, and he's been doubling down. He says things like, "Hey, I'm talking about black people as a group, okay? They are a hate group. I'm not
generalizing.
I'm not talking
guys.
about them as individuals. There's a few good individuals." He goes like for example, if my
just
black
being super racist, okay?
Yes. Yeah, he said, like, for example, if my black neighbor is a doctor, that's cool if he's a doctor. He also said, I mean, come on.
He's a doctor.
Yeah.
And lives in my neighborhood because I'm worth $75 million from drawing a fucking cartoon.
Exactly.
This is a big hypothetical here, but
Yes. And then he also said, I mean, come on, have you ever been to Atlanta? And then he said,
my God.
I'm being canceled for saying what literally everyone believes, and that's that if you're white, you'd be an idiot to live in a black neighborhood because they are too violent. I listened to about 30 minutes of this guy on YouTube to make sure that I wasn't like getting it wrong. And let me tell you something, I'm not. Let me play you a clip. This ended in almost 10-minute straight racist rant direct to camera on his double down. This is after he got in trouble from.
This is him being like, "Yeah, I stand by what I said."
He 9.5 minutes before this, he was saying like the things I've been saying, and then he ended his rant with this.
I'm not sure that black women are even part of the question, because I don't see a ton of danger from black women. I mean, you see videos of them fighting and stuff. Usually, it's women fighting with other women most of the time. And it's not old black people. It's not senior citizens. It's not toddlers. So it's not even about black Americans. It's about youngish black males for whatever reason. And I'm no longer interested in finding out. It's a dangerous situation. You should just stay away. But if any individual young black man comes to ask for a job, should be fully considered with no bias if you can manage it. So yeah, don't discriminate against individuals. Don't do that. But helping as a group would be ridiculous at this point.
There you go. No more helping blacks as a group from the director, the creator of Dilbert.
Why does he have to? Why?
He's insane.
Why
is he bringing this up
out loud?
He's insane. He's insane.
So racist. Like, why is he
insane.
having to bucket everybody in their race?
He's taking race on himself, and he's an idiot, and he's making very ignorant comments that no one asked for. and because he has too much time on his hand. I guess he does the comic, which is really easy for him, and then he does this show to camera.
He wrote a book in 2017 called Win Bigly, and it was the book presents Adams' theory that Donald Trump's victory in 2016 was due to Trump being a master persuader with a deep understanding of persuasion in the human mind, which is it's
you think he's trying to be
interesting
persuasive?
topic.
You think he's just being persuasive? With
No, I
this
think he's lost his fucking.
Yeah, I think he's
lost his mind.
We should have seen it coming though, because long before it took him 33 years to get a black character that identified as white in his comic strip, he was leaving a trail of breadcrumbs. Like for example, the January 15th, 2007 Dilbert was titled "Dilbert is angry about affirmative action."
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then also, that should have raised some eyebrows, but how did we miss this one here where Dilbert was texting a friend, and what he texted to him was, Tyler Perry's new movie is disgusting. I miss Jim Varney. And so he's a big earnest guy, which who isn't? Jim Varney, earnest, scared, stupid, and Ernest goes to jail. And classics. Yeah. But this one's a dead giveaway. If those ones didn't work, this is in parentheses it says Dilbert's classic stare at a black person, and he's just staring.
Yeah, I saw that on a T-shirt.
Yeah. I mean, we should have known.
It was right there.
Looking back,
It was there the whole time.
Yeah, correction, Daniel Stern voiced Dilbert, the voice of
Marv.
the voice of the Wonder Years. Yes, Marv. Yes.
Marv from
Chris Elliott did the Dogbert.
He's going to have to distance himself from the project now, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's talk about a man named Gary Charles Talbot. He's 43. Talbot, excuse me. He's 43 years old. I guess he lives in Meridian Close in Wilmouth, England. He's a Brit, and he appeared in Wilmouth Magistrates Court on Thursday, the 23rd, where he pled guilty to one charge of using threatening or abusive words designed to cause harassment, alarm, or distress. And here's what happened. So back October 29, he's over there at the Morrison's store, which is Will was saying. Well, how would you describe it? Have you been to one of these? I think I may have been to one. I can't recall.
I don't know. Is it like a Macy's?
No. So the logo looks just like the British Walmart, but it's not that. It's more of like a mini supermarket. I would say probably a mini supermarket. It's got to go deli stuff.
It looks
they got
more
booze
like
there.
It looks actually, to use a Texas store, it looks like a Central Market, a lot of these things.
Could look like a Central Market.
Nice grocery store.
But smaller.
It's like a Sainsbury's. It's more like a Trader Joe's, but it has like convenience store items too.
Exactly. Right? It's like maybe it's like a 7-Eleven on crack.
Like Sainsbury's, they have a lot of little grocery stores in the UK on every corner that are like this.
So it's like a tiny Walmart then.
Or like a Walgreens, like Pat was saying. Like it has some groceries and some hygiene products and you can buy beer there and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I guess he went to this place quite a bit.
Produce and stuff.
Yeah.
He went to this shop quite a bit because he knew the person who was checking him out by name. Right. He went over to this Morrison's quite a bit. The Morrison's specifically was in the Littlemore shopping center in Wilmouth, and he went to go buy some booze. When he approached the checkout, October 29th, who knows? Maybe that was Halloween weekend, probably. So he's excited, and he goes there all the time, because he knows the cashier by name. And I guess they wanted his ID, which, the guy's 43, and he goes there all the time. But I will say this. I Googled around, and if you Google Morrison's checkout counter, the Google image search shows people getting ID'd. So I think that it's a thing for them. It's like a corporate policy.
But come on. Isn't it 18 in the UK and he's 43? Come on.
I agree. But sometimes you run into a situation.
I've ever been carded there.
I haven't either.
I would be upset. Yeah, I would be upset if they're IDing me and I'm 43. Sorry.
I agree. But I think
he was drunk because it was a Saturday night. That's October 29th. So he's probably hammered, and they're like, "Hey, sir, show us your ID."
If you can,
exactly.
See if you can
pull it out.
Exactly. Will. Yep.
You think that was it?
Yes.
Yeah, because if you don't want to serve somebody a 12 beer that can't even show you their ID, so
if they can't stick their hand in their pocket and find their ID, they're too drunk to do that. Then you don't want to serve them, and then
Right.
I think,
Well, anyway, things got really heated between him and this cashier, and he ultimately suggested a threat that I thought was really pretty creative and definitely got the point across. Now, I'm going to play a little bit of the audio from the security camera.
Oh, good.
And it's really only like his side of the conversation. I don't know where the mic was on the security camera. You can kind of hear the cashier in the background. I think his name is Michael. But you'll hear what he says his girlfriend's going to do. It's not sure if his girlfriend's with him or not.
Michael, you know me. You know me, it's Richard. Just trying to buy some Smidigans. Just trying to buy a little bit of Smidigans, Michael. Come on. ID, Michael. What the fuck are you talking about? Michael, you're pissing me off now. I'm about to get pissed, Michael. Getting fucking pissed here. Come on. You see my girlfriend here, Francesca? She's gonna take a fucking poo on the floor.
Oh.
If you don't give me that Smidigan. Okay, Michael.
It's like I am.
Okay, Michael, here's the deal. Here's the deal, Michael. If you don't let me buy the Smidigans, you see my girlfriend, Francesca, right there? She's gonna take a fucking shit on the floor in the middle of the store.
Damn.
Do you want that, Michael? Damn. Is that something you want? Michael, mate, you know me. You know me, Michael.
Right.
Wow.
So,
Damn.
yeah, Francesca, I guess she was there, but he's suggesting effectively that she's going to take a shit on the floor.
Yeah.
Now, I wish we could have heard what she said about that. I don't know if that's like a thing that she does regularly or like
working up. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
could you imagine?
Tons of
I just fed her. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
She's full,
She
Michael.
just had Chipotle, Michael.
Yeah.
She's full, Michael.
Nando's.
They didn't have it, but in the article, a guy came by and was like, "You need to step outside." And then Gary threatened to. He asked the cashier Michael to take it outside as well, and threatened to fight him. But it really got me to thinking, like, what kind of situation could this be? Where he's threatening defecation from his girl. I mean, but like, you know what I mean? It's like we've all been a little kid and been like, you know, my dad will beat you up or my older cousin will beat you up. But like, it's similar to that, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, she'll take a shit on the floor.
Yeah, I mean, he's just so hammered. He's so
He
hammered.
wanted the Smidigans.
The only thing he could think of to get the Smithigans right is just like, he's like, I'm not going to punch Michael, but what if I said that she'll shit on the floor?
This is the extent of our anger. If we could make our anger clear to you, it'd be in the form of Francesca's shit.
Does Michael know? Does Michael know that she'll do that? Has Michael seen her do that before? And like that's like, you know,
I have no
like,
idea.
Maybe
Francesca's
Michael
a
knows
freak.
that she's capable of that, and he's like, "Listen, you know what's going to happen. Francesca will do it again."
It's kind of an awesome threat because I was talking to Kate about this. Like, we were talking about young jobs, and everyone's got, when you're young, when you're working at a cashier or some shit job, everyone's got a line they won't cross, right? Like for me, like when I was working at Chick-fil-A, you know, making $5.15 an hour, and someone took a shit in the ball pit, and they gave me the mop to go clean it up. I said, no, that's there's my line. So if you want me to.
It's my pleasure to hand back the uniform. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you want me to continue working here, but this is such a perfect threat because, like, how do you even charge? You know, if she did in fact shit, how do you charge her for that?
Officer. She was sick. She got sick.
She got sick, right? And then
did she do the
you got
did she
no.
take the shit?
A customer ended up getting him outside, but Talbot told the court that his buttons had been pushed, but he accepted fault. Excuse me, and he's banned from that Morrison's for a period of 12 months.
Stuff.
Yeah,
She's just rocking back and forth, looking. Like,
I mean,
I'll do it.
I mean, you made that audio, right? There's no Francesca.
No, I didn't make that audio.
no, that was Michael. No, that was
not me.
That was what's his name?
That was real audio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
it wasn't me, man.
Okay.
it was real.
He's pissed.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Next time, Michael needs to just let it happen. Just you know, I like to see if Francesca would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I think he was just so drunk, and once the cops
Called a
arrived,
bluff.
he was like, "No, mate, I'm not getting arrested. I'm not."
Go ahead, Francesca.
Fuck all, mate, and then just went home.
It's really stinky when she poos.
You know me, Michael.
Yeah.
You know me, you know her.
Yeah. You've been over to the flat, mate. She's a regular menace with it. She's a right menace.
Nice. Okay, last story of the day. But before I begin, I'd like to offer my condolences to the family of the 81-year-old man who was viciously mauled to death in San Antonio, defending his wife from a pack of pitbulls. The video is, quite frankly, a glaring example of pretty much everything I've said in regard to these monsters.
Wes gets sent every pitbull attack that's ever that
Well,
happens.
this one made national news.
Yeah. I know
It's
this one.
speed.
It was
This
huge
one is
news,
huge.
yeah.
It's Wes's beat.
But it's like a prison he's created, his own prison he's created, right?
I mean, I'm all for it because I mean, hopefully this one actually makes some
get jazzed.
changes. Yeah. His 74-year-old wife is still in critical condition. So we pray that she makes it through. First responders, of course, had to use pickaxes to fend off the dogs because
Nut grab didn't work.
they wouldn't let, and neither did the fucking hose that the one guy was spraying because they just wouldn't stop attacking this old man.
You shouldn't call him that.
What's that?
Hose.
No, he was spraying a hose. Yeah.
Water hose. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
Yeah. Sadly, this
Hey,
all-
slidey ladies, can I get some help over here?
And these dogs were, they were involved in another attack in 2021. They were impounded, let go,
man, I saw
back to this fucking moron,
saw
this guy. So Christian Alexander Morano, so
He
he's
has
being
a
charged.
pack of angry pit bulls.
He's got a pack of 3 angry pit bulls. He's being charged in the causing death and injury to an elderly person by a dangerous dog. So he's going to go away for a while. But just sad. Hopefully Greg Abbott does something about this because this is just stuff like that. This shouldn't happen. Anyway, if you see this happening, by the way, there's plenty of opportunity to run over the dogs with your car. A lot of people were filming from their cars. Just run them over next time.
or
Just
finger their butt.
run them
Yeah,
over.
you want to get
Don't-
your thumbs out.
Right.
Yeah, but you don't want to get near these things. You didn't want to get near them because the fucking
You'd
firemen
lose
had
the
that.
they're aware you'd lose the fingers.
They
before
bit a
you got on their
fireman.
butt.
They were out of control. But it's Monday, so
Sad.
let's talk about a subject we all love, and that is vagina, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Turn
yeah.
it down. You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But before we dive in, let me ask you guys: Are
don't
you
know.
aware of, or do you know what the husband stitch is? I think we kind of
I
established.
didn't know it
you
was
guys
Yeah,
called.
do.
think
I didn't
we
know it was
established
called
we all
this, but
kinda
I
know.
think I have an idea. Yeah, I didn't know it was
I
called
don't
this.
think it's
I
a
heard
real
about it on the
thing.
first pregnancy.
I mean, of course, it's a real thing that happens, but I don't think it's like a courtesy stitch. I think it's just part of what happens.
After birth, they tighten it back up.
No, it's.
I could be wrong.
So here's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Just the clinical term. It's the husband stitch, or husband stitch, also known as the daddy stitch. Husband's knot, the stitch of God.
The husband's not.
Stitch of God.
Suture for your marriage future, the sew below, and the dream seam. Is
Daddy stitch.
Yeah. Is a surgical procedure in which one or more additional stitches than necessary are used to repair a woman's perineum after it has been torn or cut during childbirth, therefore making the vaginal opening as tight, or in highly successful cases,
It's got that new car smell.
even
again.
tighter than it was before, right?
Yeah.
Tighter
How about that,
than,
huh?
tighter than before.
Tighter than before. How about that?
Better than this one.
Tighter than this one?
Stay tuned after this segment for a sketch we did about tight vaginas at our old sketch comedy group. So, but is it real, right, Pat? Is it real? Fact, fiction, or fantasy that men everywhere dream about? Well, good news, it is real, and it's fantastic. You just got to find
I
the
would
right
say
doctor,
it's gotta
and
be
they will
real,
hook you up and make your wife's life miserable. Okay, so again.
I get all my girls stitched up whether or not they have babies or not. That's called the daddy stitch.
So there's what happens.
Oh, my
There's a graphic of what happens. They sometimes the vagina tears on its own. Sometimes they do what's called a pisteotomy, where
Rips it like Hulk Hogan ripping
Yeah.
his shirt.
where they cut it themselves. A woman after the woman's done
Right,
pushing
yeah,
a
to
watermelon
make
through a
the
vagina.
space, yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
right.
And then
the asshole and it's just one hole.
Right.
It's-
Yeah,
yeah.
it goes right there, kind of below the vagina. Yeah, there you go. And then the husband, the doctor gives the husband a little wink, and if they're a good doctor, and they throw in an extra stitch or two to repair the tear. And I'm not sure if you gotta grease the doctor a few $100s during the congratulations
You can
handshake.
send now that it's being released to the public again. You can send him a link to the tight ends video, and he'll understand what you're talking about.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
greasing a cable guy back in the day. You get all the channels. If you want the
Right,
equivalent
the
of
black
all the
box.
channels,
Yeah.
if you want your
Right.
vagina to have all the channels,
Hey,
you gotta
unscramble
grease
my
the
wife's
doctor.
vagina while you're
Yeah.
at it. Just
The doctor
unscramble.
gets it for sure.
Turn it
Now,
up, yeah.
the
I want all the
prerequisite
channels
to
in this
get
vagina.
Yeah.
the prerequisite to get this is you have to have tearing. Though. So
No, that's
'cause
what I'm
you-
saying. No, you don't. Not if
you're
not
gonna
if you
get the husband
not for
stitch if there's
daddy.
No tearing.
That's what I'm saying. Well, that's what they call the daddy stitch.
That's right. Right.
Because
So it's a
sometimes
good
you can
idea,
get
Because
it.
the husband is the only one who's benefiting from it.
Right. It makes the wife's life miserable if they stitch it up extra. It's very
Right.
painful.
Well, she also had a horrible birth where there was tons of tearing if they're having to stitch up too.
Absolutely.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
So
Or
like
just a
it's
normal
this
birth.
is
well,
not
yeah,
for
I mean,
her.
yeah.
No, not at all for her.
There's not
this is
always huge.
100%
This is not
for the
for
guy.
her at all.
100% for the person with the penis. And so it's it's a good idea. You bring a few hundreds to you with to delivery room just to make sure. It's very important. You get a male doctor as well. They're more likely to do this for you.
What do you
But
want me to
again,
write your son a
don't
letter
think
recommendation or? Yeah.
Is that
I think
true?
this next time when I go through,
It
I'm
is
gonna be like, hey, you know, this is our last one, right? Just wanted to reiterate
Right.
that again.
Yeah.
We're not going to do
Punch
this
him in
again.
the
So
arm.
last one, we really
him in
want
the
to make sure everything's, all the we tie, dot all the I's, cross all the T's.
Boy, I
Right.
was a
really
big,
get it
I was
really
a
tight.
big fan of those Olympic teams, the dream team. I mean, the dream teams.
Right.
Hey, bro, while you're down there, elbow deep in my wife's vagina, maybe, I don't know.
But this is very
Do
real.
me a favor?
Yeah.
It's very real. Some women claim that under the radar stitch leaves them in immense pain with a lack of trust with their medical providers. So listen to this tale from one Minnesota
Man,
woman.
can you imagine busting an underground dream stitch team?
Well, it has to happen right there in the delivery room. It has to.
No, I know,
happen
but
right
if there's
there.
like one doctor that does it 100% of the times, and he
Oh,
gets
there
busted,
are. There
yeah.
are 100% doctors that
Yeah.
do it all the time.
That's
So-
gonna be like the jury. If it has one guy on it, is like they're gonna get off. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a hung jury.
Well,
every
this is
time.
just the better way to do it,
yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
All
going
the
to get
men-
off.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, he's the doctor. I trust the doctor.
You're just
He
smiling.
was in there. He saw what was
holding,
going on.
holding up
He-
3 fingers. Like, yeah. Give me those 3
I
extra,
think I have a
doc.
jury of 12 women.
Yeah.
What a
So
convict.
this woman said that she was in labor for 70 hours, 5 of which were spent pushing. She was trying to do an at-home birth, but it got complicated, so they had to move to the hospital. And then
Poor
after
woman.
she gives labor, she's spent. She's out of it, and the doctor began stitching her up. She had like the 2nd-degree vaginal tear, and as she prepared to stitch, this woman says the doctor says, "quote You're going to be so glad I did this." And she said that statement rung with her because she was weak, trying to focus on the birth, but she trusted her. Then when she got home, she felt like a pinching, tugging, and she knew it wasn't normal. And then her midwives confirmed that she was significantly closed compared to before.
Whoa.
And she said 3 extra stitches is what her midwives guessed.
3 extra stitches.
Yeah. And they closed
This
me up
guy's a
almost
dog.
50%. 50%. This doctor
You gotta need
hooked him
some
up.
lube. Yeah.
This doctor
Why-
hooked this guy up.
So she's pissed off.
Yeah, because it's painful. She couldn't
painful,
have
yeah.
sex.
you can't have sex right after a pregnancy, anyways.
Right, but
Even if you
especially
look
because
at
of this extra stitch, it was just.
I
it
think
was
for the
just
rest of
Dude,
her
it doesn't
life.
matter about the stitching. You can't just start boning right away.
No,
after
but Will,
birth.
this is for
Will.
the rest of your life. It's stitched up this
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
How's that even possible, though? That doesn't make sense.
It didn't close her up.
It closes. It
tightens her
closes.
up.
It tightens her up. Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Hey, nice to meet
tighten her
you.
up permanently, not for like
This lady-
just the period of recovery.
50%.
It's good for the guy, but if it hurts her daily, it's not as good
Oh,
for
is
her.
it hurting daily or does it hurt at the time? Or what's
I don't
the
know.
situation?
Well,
We
gonna
would
be
have to
your,
check in. You got to check in with her 6 months later.
I mean,
Your gynecologist, Dr. Lilo.
It hurt her so bad
Lilo
that she had to
stitch?
do a reverse,
Lilo and stitch?
surgery to
all right,
open
so she's
open
got
it up
some
a little
merit
bit
here.
more.
Sorry, ladies. I
Right,
didn't mean
right.
to be offensive. No.
And according to the Yahoo article,
I think it sounds like 2 stitches is perfect. Then if 3 is too far,
2 is perfect.
yeah, 2 extra.
2 is perfect. 1 is
Still getting the
that's
science
a
right.
favor, but 2 is like thanks, doc.
You gotta crack a few eggs before you make a perfect vagina. That's what they
Right,
say.
right. One lady said that she gave birth in May of 2021, and she shared that her OBGYN gave her an extra stitch during labor, winking and saying, "You didn't really tear, but I gave you a stitch mostly for him." And don't worry, I'll provide the names of all these doctors in the podcast description so you can get in touch with them. Make sure that your wife is going to some-
Dr. Feelgood.
Yeah.
So you can realize who to avoid.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
those
yeah.
So
I think the husband stitch normally works out fine. It's just this chick. Also, first of all, 70-hour what was that, labor, and then she was like demanding to do the at home, had to transition to this woman was going to be very specific about her birth no matter what, just based on all those details. And so I think this happens a lot where people probably are just like, oh, cool.
Right. Well, so apparently nowhere in textbooks has this ever been a thing. Obviously, you need to sew up the tear, but the husband stitch, the extra stitch.
Oh, it's a secret. It's a secret.
It's not.
Keep
supposed
it
to
out.
happen.
Keep it out of the textbooks.
Yeah. And so
There's like a line
It's
in
a
the textbook
hidden
that
chapter
alludes
in
to
Grey's
it.
Anatomy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you order animal style In-N-Out. It's the secret menu.
Yeah. And this doctor, she's a former doula and the CEO. Or no, sorry, this woman said that it's misogynistic and driven by male misogyny, and she
She's
teaches
right.
for Stanford. So if you have a doctor that graduated from Stanford, you
Steer
might
clear.
want to replace her or him. So but.
I'm looking for Rutgers.
Get one while you can, though, because these are
Got anybody
these
who
are
graduated
fading
from
out.
Florida?
Yeah, definitely a Florida university.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like a Caribbean doctor. Like,
Yeah.
Brazilian? Yeah.
Brazilian.
Yeah.
That's 3 stitches.
St.
minimum.
Thomas Medical School. Okay, I like that.
You want us to kill her?
But they're fading out.
stitch her, okay.
These husband stitches are fading out. In 1979, 63% of all deliveries in the United States included an episiotomy, and a lot of husband stitches were happening. But now they're letting it kind of tear naturally, where they're not doing episiotomies. So only 12% of vaginal births in 2012 included one. That number just keeps going down. And one woman, a nurse, gave specific actions you can take to prevent the unwanted gift to your husband. First of all, first step, you can look those steps up yourselves because I'm not going to tell you them. Pros before hoes, you know how it goes. And if you think your doctor gave you one of these stitches without your consent, you might be able to sue them, which is the most ideal situation I can think of: a tighter vagina and a fat settlement. I mean,
So you're exactly, yeah. You're
Unbelievable.
That's a win-win. You're so right.
That's a
Wes.
win-win.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's just most people I would imagine would be pretty pumped about it because like one of the toughest parts of postpartum is the fact that you can't have sex, right? Because it's uncomfortable. And so like I think that like a lot of people would probably be pretty jazzed once they did start doing it again if it was like pretty awesome, because of the new fun toy. Maybe not. Maybe people get mad about that.
but what I took away from it is
think-
you can
I
get
think
these
they're
if you
fine.
want
Well,
one.
She's saying if it's tighter than it ever has been in her life and it's causing pain, that's all.
Right.
It's not about
Yeah.
having sex right after pregnancy. This is long term. This
is,
is like 10, 20 years of if it's too tight and she's in a, that's what she's saying. I think one stitch probably isn't that bad. She got 3 extra stitches, which
I'm
was
gonna
2
need to hear more negative stories.
Okay.
Right.
More
I mean,
examples.
obviously, it doesn't matter to men because we're not the ones getting them, and
No. Stitch her up.
But the bottom line is that this does happen. You can ask for it if you have the right doctor. If the woman asks for it, you can especially get it. If the man asks for it, you're probably not going to get it unless you,
Dude,
like I said,
I'm
get
getting
all
the
the channels.
snip after this. After this, if everything goes good with our birth this year, I'm getting the snip, and I think I'm gonna go snip for a stitch. I think that's what I'm gonna say. Like, hey,
Ooh, that's
you know
your push
what? We do
present?
A little tradesy.
Your
Little
push
snip for
present's a
stitch.
stitch.
go.
I like that.
A little snip
like
for a stitch.
Snip
That's what you
present.
say after the last one, and then
Snip for a stitch. I like that.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
a t-shirt.
That's a
There you go.
t-shirt. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Snip for, that's an eye for an eye. Snip for a stitch.
snip for a stitch over here.
As long as we're negotiating.
Oh man. But anyway, it's a real thing. But if if your wife doesn't want to get the stitch, there are other things that you can do, like a product that we created.
We innovated it.
Yeah, we innovated it back in our Who Do You Know Here days. And here's the infomercial for that product. It's called Tight Ends.
Following advertisement is paid advertisement.
Hi,
Tight ends.
I'm Amber, and I'm here with my extraordinarily handsome co-host, Brock.
Well, thank you for that glowing endorsement, Amber. Tell me, what are we going to be talking about today?
On
We're
sex
going
toy.
to talk about a revolutionary new product that can actually decrease the size of that special part of a woman's body and enhance her pleasure as well.
Of course I don't like a big vagina, and neither do my friends. In fact, in a recent study, it shows that nearly 80% of men are unsatisfied with the size of their partner. They don't tell the girls, though, because the vagina is a very sensitive area on women.
Oh yeah? Well, we hit the streets to see what people really think about size and if it really matters.
You tell them how big it was.
How big was
No,
it?
you was. How this guy?
Oh no, it's not big.
No, how big it was.
It wasn't big.
It was huge.
So what was it like before you started using it?
Oh, gross.
I mean, like apparently, like
Sorry, I didn't mean like.
I can feel him at all. I mean, let's be honest. So.
Man, I mean, she's Asian, so it's like already pretty tight, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, I think it can get tighter, you know what I mean? So I was like, let me pop one of these in her mouth and woo!
This American girl, she goes to American college. It gets very big at American college. Lots of guys. Lots of guys, buddy.
For a while, she couldn't really wear shorts. She couldn't ride the stationary bike or the recumbent bike, which is pretty gross.
A vortex.
They would actually get sucked up inside.
Almost like a black hole.
Like
Yeah.
a vortex.
It was like sticking your hand inside of a goat.
Wow, those interviews were pretty telling. You've got a lot of men out there who wish their partners were smaller.
And you've got the solution with tight ends.
You went out on the street and actually talked to some of these people who use tight ends, didn't you?
I did, and these women were glowing. And their men had some pretty interesting things to say about the power of tight ends.
Have you guys heard of the product tight ends? Yeah. It's so weird that you should ask that, because actually we use it.
Yo, we do.
use it? Yeah.
It feels good, and it's like those muscles are strong and. Just
Would you say tighter?
tight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like right now, after she used the product, I feel like I've blown myself up and I'm getting my virgins.
I sort of needed a miracle drug, you know what I mean? So we started praying. We prayed every day. We went to church every day.
Yes.
And then you guys came along.
And this has been your miracle
It's my miracle drug.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord, because he brought us tight ends.
Tight ends.
Yeah.
So I guess it's safe to say that you're happy with the results?
My God. Baby, tell them what's done to you.
What you want me to say?
Just tell them, say how I'm teaching you.
No.
Yes.
It's so tight. Oh, it's so tight.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like tighter than this one.
Yeah. Tighter than this one.
So that's the science at work here, America. After only 2 days, she goes from worst to first.
Check it out, like this, and then like, just like that, and then.
It wasn't that. It wasn't that.
And then
boom, and then boom.
Oh, it's behind her ear. I found her vagina behind her ear.
It's kind of like being at my prom night again, you know? Oh, my junior prom.
I didn't finish school.
It's so awesome now. It's like my dick's going through hell week, except it's awesome. It's puking all the time.
Son, there's this thing in culture, Persian culture is men, and it's in the back of the man, and it's very tight. That's what it's like. It's like sex with man in the back, but in her front? No. I joke around. She doesn't get it. But you know.
And you haven't gotten bigger. She's just gotten smaller, right?
Smaller.
Yeah.
These big American offs with their huge penis.
It is not big. That's bad. It doesn't make a girl.
No, I know it's bad. Mine fits nice. That's all I say.
Come by your boat.
You like when I come over here, put very tight. Too many people are so tight like that.
Y'all make something to tighten her mouth up.
Hey!
She said it's like when she came over here, it's like a crowded boat. Like too many people, that's how tight it is.
Oh, like sardine.
Her vocabulary is very limited right now, but you know. That's what she meant to say.
And how does it feel to you?
Like she says, it feels like a crowded boat. Too many people. Except I'm the only motherfucker in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just one big person in that little boat.
It's almost too tight, America.
It's almost too tight, America.
It's almost too tight, so Americas.
It's almost too tight, America.
It's almost too tight, America.
There you have it, ladies. This is a pill that can actually enhance that special part of your body. More satisfaction, self-confidence, and sex drive is just one phone call away. Tight Ends is guaranteed to make you tighter or your money back.
I gotta find the guy who did the vagina animations. That was like the best Craigslist hire I think I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, you gotta hear me out. Hear me out. I need to.
He did multiple vagina animations.
Yeah, we gave him notes.
Several different.
No,
several
you gotta change that up.
I want the vagina to burp.
Different diagram, please.
He was like, no, I'm not freaked out. I'm into this. I was like, okay.
I know exactly what you want.
All right, let me pull up the
Classic.
wheel.
Blast from the past.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow. And while we were taping, Tommy Fury defeats Jake Paul by split decision.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, man, I wish you
Oh, sorry we missed that.
Damn. Well,
That would have been great to see if it was a knockout.
It's great that Jake Paul took
No,
it
it
out.
was
I
split
feel like the world needed that to happen.
I haven't paid $1 for a Jake Paul fight, and I never will.
Right, but it was great. It's great that he took an L. And,
Yeah.
and then
Agreed.
Tommy Fury is funny too because now Tyson's going to be talking all kinds of shit about the heavyweight belt. Like he's scared of Usyk.
Yeah, the
but-
Fury is big. That's big for the Furies. Yeah,
Yeah, it's huge. for the
Kings of
Furies.
boxing.
He might get his way. He doesn't want to fight Usyk, I think.
Yeah. By the way, shirts, store.hardfactor.com, new shirts. Fat Boy Summer. Look pretty good. Feel pretty good. Soft. Beautiful. Let's pull up the wheel. Here we go.
Lakers beat the Mavs. 27 points.
Wow, it was 42-17 Dallas when I checked. Big comeback.
I will have your coffee tomorrow.
You can swing.
You can swing. And that's going to do it for Hard Factor. We love you. Hope your Monday is going great so far. And we hope you have a rest. We hope you have a great fucking day.
Mm-hmm.